Right, good evening everyone. Thank you very much for coming. I'm not at all used to a microphone, so if I shy away from the sound of my own voice occasionally, please do forgive me. I'm Bethan and this is Jo. We're here from Voices for the Library, and we're going to be talking to you this evening a little bit about Voices for the Library itself, about how we've escaped the echo chamber. Now, because these presentations have been reversed, it was supposed to be Ned and Laura first talking to you actually about the echo chamber. I'm just going to give you a very brief introduction about what it is, and then Laura and hopefully Ned will expand on that much better later on. Basically, the echo chamber is this idea that we as librarians and information professionals do absolutely fantastic things, and we have wonderful ideas, but we only ever talk to them about each other in this sort of enclosed space, this enclosed chamber, and none of our discussions get outside that. So the whole idea of escaping the echo chamber is to tell non-library professionals, non-information professionals about what we do. As I say, Laura's going to explain that in rather more detail later on. Voices for the Library. The slides you're seeing are taken from our Flickr group, and they're screenshots from our website as well, so hopefully you'll enjoy those as they go past. Has anyone here not heard of Voices for the Library? A few? Yes. But loads of you have. Excellent. That's really, really promising to see. Voices for the Library was set up in September this year by a group of information professionals who were alarmed at the negative and inaccurate coverage in the media about the state of public libraries in the UK. And we decided that there needed to be a neutral space where information professionals and users could come together to present, for a start, the correct facts, and also to share their stories about why public libraries and why public librarians were so very important. Now, we're a group of volunteers. We met through social media. We've collaborated online through social media. And this is, we're from various sectors as well. I have to say we've got 4 of us in the room here tonight, so this is the most of us who have ever been in one room at one time so far, which is fantastic. We do all of our collaboration online. We've got university librarians, we've got public librarians, we've got independent consultants, we've got people who are right at the very start of their careers, straight out of library school, still in library school in a couple of cases, and people who are much more distinguished and have lots of experience behind them. So it's a fantastic mix, and we're working really well together. Now, Jo is going. I'm going to pass you over to Jo, who's going to tell you a bit more about how we've been using social media and online tools to communicate not only with each other but with our audience and try to escape the echo chamber.
I'm a bit scared of microphones as well, so bear with me. We started off initially because we decided that the website had to be put together really quickly because, I mean, you all know about what's happening to public libraries at the moment. They're at serious threat by closures and being handed over to community groups and this kind of thing. So we thought we needed to act quite quickly. So while we were putting the website together, we initially launched Voices for the Library through Twitter, a Twitter account called UK Pling. And we tried to keep it quite quiet initially. What we were doing, we just we set up a Pling account, and then we'd tweet positive library stories and this kind of thing, and it kind of created a bit of a stir. People saying, "What's this? What's that? What's this Pling thing?" And then so we were kind of got a little bit of interest, and then we launched the website, which we tweet the stories from the website through, and people kind of figured out what it was. At that point, we were still very much inside the echo chamber, and it was librarians we were tweeting to, which isn't our goal. We wanted to get it wider than that. So we also set up a Facebook group, which we now have over 1,000 likes on it. So, and I think that's when we first started to break out of the echo chamber, because I know personally 30 of my friends are on it, and they wouldn't have been interested before, and they've started to find out what's going on, and they've started to post on there and this kind of thing. So yeah, that's been really good. We've also set up a Flickr group, which is the pictures you're seeing here, so that people could put their own pictures of libraries into the group and participate in what we were doing. And there was a feeling of ownership, we think. There's 40 members in our Flickr group at the moment, and people keep adding to it all the time. So that's been quite a fun aspect of it. We set the Twitter account and the Facebook group so that we've got feeds from the website going into both, so people don't have to come directly to the website. The social media tools bring people into our website, and it's been quite successful so far. In order to get further outside the echo chamber, when we launched, we were pretty ambitious, and we sent press releases to the BBC, The Guardian, major newspapers, everybody that we can think of, because we thought even if they didn't advertise the STEN, then they might file us and come back to us later, because we were quite concerned that it was never, in the media, it was never librarians who were talking or information professionals who were interviewed on the news or this kind of thing when libraries were talked about. So we thought we really needed to change that and give them an alternative. So our press release was actually quite successful. We got published in the Bookseller and on the Library Campaigner's Alan Gibbons' blog, and in a few other places. Yeah, we've also attended events wherever we can. I personally went to the Birmingham Salon debate, which was it was basically a debate for the public, and it was organised by SLA West Midlands and the Birmingham Salon, and it was members of the public and library staff and members of SLA that will go and debate the future of libraries. So I went along and met people and told them about our group and gave out flyers and this kind of thing, because it was one of the few places where everybody was coming together. It wasn't just a group of librarians talking to librarians, we were kind of branching out and talking to a lot of other people. So we've tried to go to events like that as often as we can. We've also put flyers onto our website so that people at a distance can download them and distribute them around libraries, or if they go to other groups, because people were asking us, they were saying, how can we share this with other people? We've also, whenever we've had the opportunity, we've been shamelessly putting our link on the bottom of newspaper articles about libraries. Wherever there's been any debate, we've been putting a link on there, and we've actually been getting a lot of hits on our website because of that. We actually got a lady she was writing a blog about a pledge that she'd made to not buy a single book for the next year, but to use public libraries. And she was writing a blog about her experiences and the stuff she was reading, and she found us through, commented through the Guardian website and sent us a blog to put on our website. So that was quite a success, we think. We also had an email sent round by Unison to 40,000 of their members, which was great as well, because that really got out to a lot of different people. So have we escaped the echo chamber? We have, but we've got a lot more to do. The evidence is that we've got loads of people emailing us all the time with different stories, members of the public emailing us all the time with different stories. A few examples for you. We've had Nick, who's a special needs teacher who takes a group of his children to the libraries, and he wrote to us to say that it's an essential place for them to develop life skills. It's one of the few safe places where they can learn how to interact with other people, and also to build their literacy skills. That he'd be lost without, where else can you do something like that? He'd be lost without the library, so that was really great. We also had a Polish librarian who sent us her story. She came to England and didn't know a word of English, and so she went into the public library and she'd get audiobooks and listen to them over and over again. She'd read books and translate them word by word, and she eventually learned English so well she got a job in the NHS as a medical librarian. So we also had Wendy, who's a 77-year-old lifelong library user, who wrote to us saying she was part of a Friends of group for her local library, and to her the librarians were her friends, and it was a lifeline for her. So we've also reached out of the echo chamber into the mainstream media, and the people that we sent the original press releases to may not have published us initially, but those people are starting to come back to us now when the subject of libraries came up. Lauren, our press contact, has been approached by a London news programme to be interviewed. We've also were asked to comment on the recent ebooks debate that was happening. Publishers were saying that e-books could only be downloaded in libraries, and we were asked to comment on that. And for them to come to us, that was a pretty big deal, we thought. Lauren was interviewed on the Red Chilli site, which is a socialist feminist online news site. She's also been approached by Sky News and the BBC Politics show, which have yet to be confirmed, but people are coming to talk to us, and big names. So yeah, so hopefully that's going to grow and take off. I'll hand you back to Bethan.
Thank you, Jo. So Jo's been telling you about some of our successes, which we are extremely proud of, but it's not all been easy sailing. There have been a lot of challenges along the way as well. The first challenge, of course, is time. We don't have enough of it. We're all volunteers, and we're all doing this in our own time. As for many of us, we're also involved in other professional activities, so there's never enough time to get everything done. Also money. We don't have any, which, so I'm sure you can imagine, is another slight barrier to a lot of activities. We've had to turn down going to places or pay for them entirely out of our own pockets, and we've printed all of our own flyers and that sort of thing. But we are starting to get some sponsorship on board, which is fantastic news. Not actually meeting each other is always another barrier. Social media is absolutely fantastic, but it's very nice to meet people face to face as well, and it can make an enormous difference to how you work as a team and to any misunderstandings that may arise. Although I think we've done exceptionally well, and we work generally very, very well as a team. The other challenges, well, I started off by saying that we were non-affiliated, and the problem of remaining non-affiliated while being very active is actually quite difficult. We have, for instance, two of our members, Phil, who's at the back, and Katie Rathall, are running, standing for election for Phillip Council. And we know that if they succeed in being elected, that's going to necessarily diminish their involvement in Voices for the Library. Not just because of the political aspects to it. Phillip has been fantastic and have supported Voices for the Library, as have SLA Europe and SLA as a whole, the parent body, which is excellent news. But it's going to take their time away because they're going to have then other commitments. In terms of politics, we can't be seen to side too strongly with any one group if we're to remain neutral and to get support from all areas. For instance, Jo has been fantastically in communication with Unison, and she was the one who got them to send out that email to 40,000 of their members. And they've also offered us a PO box, so we can get actual real-life posts sent to us. And they gave us two choices. One was a free post box that said Care of Unison, and the other was just a post box that wasn't free post. So we had to then make the decision: do we want our post going to an address that says Unison? Do we want people to be automatically associating us with that? Or do we want to keep it that bit more anonymous? Do we, it's the free post, or the independence? So these are the sort of decisions that we've had to make. Likewise, do we get flyers printed with a logo on them, apart from ours? It's tough, but worthwhile. We don't want to be seen as being divisive. I know there are a number of campaigns out there, and we're trying to be, as I say, stay very neutral and stay just as we're not being negative, we're not necessarily disagreeing with other campaigns, but we're very much promoting our own and promoting the value of free-to-all public libraries staffed by trained staff. That's our key point. So to the future, what are we going to be doing? Well, more things like this. We're hoping to attend a lot more meetings in person and get more into what I've been facetiously calling the non-line world. Because all of our activities so far have been pretty much internet-based. We're starting to get out and talk to more people, but we're hoping to start connecting with people in libraries who aren't necessarily internet users. We know there are an awful lot of them out there. We've done this in a small way already, which is fantastic. Staff at, I don't know if I can pronounce it, Wearley Castle Library in Birmingham They've scanned some of the comments from their written comments book and sent them to us, and Gary has very kindly transcribed them, and we've put those up on the website. So we are communicating with people who aren't necessarily in our online sphere. We're also looking to communicate more with yes, that's a scorpion. That was that was an insect day at the library, apparently. It looks like great fun. Sorry. Communicate with more non-librarians in different settings. For example, Joe tomorrow morning is actually attending a meeting with the WI where they're they're tabling a resolution to support public libraries. So Joe's going to go along and speak up in support of that there. We're hopefully going to start attending things like Phil's suggestion at science fiction conventions, where you get lots of people who are really, really interested in books and who love reading, but who don't necessarily know all of the debates that are going on, who are outside this echo chamber that we've got ourselves in. Some of our members have started leafleting in non-library places, such as their local doctor's surgeries, local information points, local tourist information centres, and we're hoping to continue all of that in the future as well. Now, what this needs, of course, are the two things that we're completely missing, which is time and money, but especially time. So one of the key things we're going to be doing is we're going to be bringing more people in and getting more people on board. We've actually had a new member agree to join the team just today, which is excellent news. That's why when the team slide pops up later, you'll notice he isn't on it, but please don't tell him. His name's Simon, and we're very pleased to have him on board. But what we also need is help from other people, help from other librarians, help from non-librarians. Even if all people do is send us a story, that's a fantastic help. Hand a few leaflets out, brilliant. So we're looking for more people to be voices, to spread the word, and hopefully increase our effectiveness. I think that's it from us. Thank you very much. I think we'll take questions now. Yes, thank you.